Sheriff Steve, he's the boss here at the Circle Square Ranch, southwestern Ontario, just east of Brantford. Steve, you're here with your wife, your family. You've had a long history with Circle Square Ranch.
Yeah, that's correct. This is my 15th summer here at the ranch.
And when you first came, what were you doing?
My wife and I came and started the day camp program, and then we became the program coordinators, and then in '99 we were asked to come back as the directors.
Why do you do this? I mean, this is a huge challenge with how many 1,500 kids over the course of July and August at least, plus year-round activities?
Yeah, it's been a real busy year, and the summers just keep getting busier. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of planning and a lot of preparation. We work for 10 months of the year for 2 months of opportunity to build into kids' lives, and that's why we do it. We work and toil for 10 months, and people say, how do you do it? The summer is so crazy and you work such long hours. And I say, you kidding? This is my vacation. This is what we work towards, and here we have the opportunity to build relationships with these kids, and the staff, the opportunities that we have with the staff, just to help these these kids just get focused on the purpose of seeing kids come to know Jesus. So it's just a great option.
Well, thank you. You've got 3 of my grandchildren here. Moira Brown is in the studio, and we'll be hearing Moira Brown a little later on in this edition of 100 Huntley Street. She's got 2 of her kids here. Yep. And in fact, to come to think of it, I've got more than 3. I've got 4. Mary Shaheen
in our office.
In the office, yeah. And so that's super stuff. Bill Bray, who's been on this week, he was our producer for TQ, and he helps in so many areas. He's our first director on 100 Street. He's got an adopted daughter and a foster daughter here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Right now, how are they doing?
Good. And actually, Dave Shelley's granddaughter is
Dave is our missions director.
Yeah, and they're doing great.
Yeah. Now, in those other 10 months, I know you have weekend activities, yes, and particularly in the winter break and things like that, it's just flat out action here. Yeah. But during the week, you have school groups come, because you and I walked through these woods before this low rope course was in this location. It was in another location. Yes. And this was an archaeological dig site.
That's great.
And I was involved in contacting someone in Toronto who works with the Royal Ontario Museum about archaeological digs concerning our First Nations people.
Yep.
And because I'd heard the story about the neutral Indians, the Jesuit priest in his diary 500 years ago wrote of these neutral Indians who had a very prosperous agricultural community here. They farmed all these fields, which are our Circle Square Ranch, yeah. And when the priest went through on his way to Michigan, he described this community, mm-hmm, a lovely community. And on the way back, everything was burnt, and there had been a massacre, yeah, a war between the tribe to the north and the tribe to the south, the Iroquois and the Hurons or something, yeah, like this. And the neutrals, as they were called, were all killed. Yeah. And so there, everything was left as it was 500 years ago. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, I found out that you are an archaeological buff. You love archaeology. Yeah. Of all our ranch directors, mm-hmm, you're the one person who should be directing the ranch, yeah, on this location. So in conjunction with the Royal Ontario Museum, what do you do?
Well, May and June and in the fall as well, we service a lot of school groups, and they love to have an educational element to what they're learning here, as well as recreational. So the history of the ranch and the Attawandaron people, or the neutrals as they were renamed by the Europeans, is just an incredible opportunity for us. We have a burial ground, we have dumping grounds, we have a village site. And all spring, with the winter frost, you can find all kinds of artifacts that come to the surface. So we have the opportunity of just telling them all about the history of Circle Square Ranch. It's a great program.
And some of them come back in the summer, perhaps.
We have lots of kids that come. They come for a school group activity, and because of insurance things, they're not allowed to do as much as they'd like to do. So we really encourage them and say, hey, if you want to come back and do the high ropes or the zip line, come to Circle Square Ranch in the summer. We have a number of kids that come back, and again, just more opportunities to tell them about Jesus.
There are some artifacts found here that are actually in the Royal Ontario Museum, yeah, as I remember.
We've had the register name is the Sealy site, and they've had a number of artifacts on display.
Now, you were pointing out some here. Let's just walk over here just a little bit, Steve, and And I mean, you can't, it's just all over the place. So you say, well, how could you walk on some archaeological treasure? Point something out to us here.
Sure. Well, here's you can see a bone fragment there, a bone piece there. Over here we have some.
Now this would be like where they threw the chicken bones.
This would be animal bones.
Oh yeah.
You know that from their meals. Some more bones right there. That's what they call a deer toe. Just over here.
Yeah. Now I remember you telling me years ago when we first came here that there was flint here.
Yes.
And yet there is no flint. It has to come from New York State now.
They would have had to trade with the native people and the Erie area, and they would have traded, you know, for flint and brought it back to use for.
Is there any flint? Can you find any flint around?
Find flint. There's a chunk of flint right here.
Can you dig it out?
Yeah, there's a little piece, what an archaeologist would call a secondary flint chip. So no purpose, just what was left.
But that was maybe chopped off to make an arrowhead.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's actually a piece of pottery. So you're looking at a 600-700-year-old piece of pottery that was made by an Attawandaron woman at some time. So a lot of history.
So Steve, we're going back 600 or 700 years, whatever, with that piece of pottery right there. Mm-hmm. You go back 2,000 years, and we come to a man who's the reason for Circle Square Ranches.
Yep.
Now, there's lots of boys and girls and grandpas and grandmas and what have you. Look into the camera and talk to them about Jesus a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's just a great opportunity every week of camp, and we have these kids that just come onto the property, and this week we have 147 girls. It's our all girls week, and every one that comes on, I think here's another opportunity that we have, to help them to feel significant, to help them to feel accepted, to help them to feel loved, just to act as a positive role model, and just to reflect Jesus through what we do on a day-to-day basis. And what an incredible opportunity that we have and that the staff have, just to build into the lives of these kids. And I tell the staff, I said, you're going to impact hundreds and hundreds of kids this summer, and what kind of opportunity do these guys have throughout the year to make such an impact in the lives of kids? And in 2 short months, they're going to have the privilege of impacting hundreds and hundreds of kids. So it's just an incredible opportunity that we love.